I am going to give you the honest take on losing money in crypto that most creators are too afraid to say. Between January and June 2022, I watched exactly $10,247 disappear, not in one dramatic crash, slowly, painfully, one bad decision stacking on top of another. And the worst part, every single loss was preventable. I did not get hacked by some genius Russian programmer. I did not get targeted by a sophisticated scam. I just did what most beginners do. I trusted the wrong sources, moved too fast, and ignored every warning sign sitting right in front of my face. This video is not a sob story. It is a map of every landmine I stepped on so you can walk around them. By the end of this, you will know the 5 mistakes that drained my portfolio. And more importantly, you will know exactly what to do instead. Stay until the end because mistake number 4 is the one nobody talks about, and it is probably already happening to you right now. Let me give you the full picture first because context matters here. It was January 2022. Bitcoin was sitting around $47,000. Everyone in my friend group was talking about crypto. My coworker had turned $2,000 into $11,000 in 8 months. My cousin was posting Lamborghini memes on Instagram. I had $10,000 saved up from 18 months of freelance work, and I thought, if I don't get in now, I'm going to miss the entire thing. That feeling right there, that specific pressure, that is the most dangerous emotional state you can enter a market in. Fear of missing out rewires your decision-making. It makes you skip steps. It makes you trust people you would never trust in any other area of your life. I'm telling you this because if you have ever felt that pressure, if you have ever opened a crypto app at midnight because you couldn't sleep, you are already closer to my situation than you think. The market doesn't care about your savings. It doesn't care about your goals. And in early 2022, it was about to prove that to a lot of people, including me. Mistake number 1. I bought coins I could not explain out loud. Sounds simple. Almost embarrassing to admit. But I want you to really sit with this one. I bought a token called Luna in February 2022 because 3 different YouTube channels I followed all mentioned it in the same week. I did not read the white paper. I could not explain the algorithmic stablecoin mechanism it relied on. I just knew other people were excited and the chart was going up. By May 9th, 2022, Luna had collapsed by over 99% in 72 hours. That was not a dip. That was total destruction. And I was holding $2,400 worth of it. The rule I now live by is called the elevator pitch test. If you cannot explain what a project does, why it exists, and how it makes money in 60 seconds to a stranger on an elevator, you have no business putting real money into it. Not a little money, not money you can afford to lose. Zero money. Because you are not investing. You are gambling on other people's excitement. And other people's excitement is not a thesis. Mistake number 2. I put 60% of my entire portfolio into altcoins in the first 30 days. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, altcoins. Coins ranked outside the top 50 by market cap. Now, I want to be fair here. Some altcoins have created life-changing returns for people. That is completely real. But here is what nobody explained to me. Altcoins are not a faster version of Bitcoin. They are a completely different risk category. Most altcoins during a bear market do not drop 50%. They drop 85, 90, sometimes 97%, and many of them never recover, ever. I had spread that 60% across 7 different projects. By August 2022, 5 of those 7 had either completely collapsed or were down so far that selling them barely bought me a cup of coffee. The math that actually works, and I learned this the hard way, is to build from the foundation up. You establish a position in the assets with the longest track record and highest liquidity first. Then and only then do you allocate. Mistake number 3. And this one is going to make some of you uncomfortable. I followed crypto influencers as if they were financial advisors. I watched one specific creator. I won't name them because this isn't about calling people out, but this person had 800,000 subscribers and uploaded daily videos with very confident price predictions. Every video felt like urgent information. Every coin they mentioned seemed like a once-in-a-decade opportunity. I bought at least 4 coins based purely on their recommendations between February and April 2022. All 4 lost more than 70% of their value. Here is what I did not know at the time. Many creators in this. Mistake number 4. The one I promised you at the start. I left the majority of my assets on centralized exchanges for 5 months. Not a little bit of my holdings, most of them. I had accounts on 3 different platforms. One of those platforms, a smaller exchange I was using for a specific altcoin, completely froze withdrawals in June 2022 and eventually filed for bankruptcy. I lost access to $1,100 worth of assets on that platform alone. Gone. Not because the market moved, because the company I trusted to hold my assets stopped functioning. You have probably heard the phrase, not your keys, not your coins. I heard it too. I just did not act on it because moving assets to a hardware wallet felt complicated. It felt like extra steps. Let me tell you something right now. Those extra steps take about 45 minutes to set up once, and once they are done, the coins you store on a hardware wallet cannot be lost to an exchange hack, an exchange bankruptcy, or a platform freezing your funds. They live on the device. Nobody can access them without your physical device and your PIN. This is the single security upgrade that would have protected over $1,000 of my losses directly. The hardware wallet I use and recommend to people just starting out is linked in the description. I will be transparent with you. That is an affiliate link, and I do receive a commission. But I also genuinely use this device. And after what I went through, I would not store meaningful crypto holdings anywhere else. Mistake number 5. I had no exit plan for any position I held, not a single one. I bought coins with a vague idea that I would sell when they went up. When they went up a lot, I told myself they would go up more. When they started falling, I told myself it was a temporary dip. I held all the way down, multiple times, on multiple assets. There is a specific psychological trap called the sunk cost fallacy. Your brain refuses to accept a loss as real until you sell, so you hold. And you watch it fall further, and you still hold because selling now means admitting you were wrong. The way out of this trap is mechanical. Before you buy anything, you write down 2 numbers, the price at which you will take profit, and the price at which you will cut your loss. These are not feelings. They are not subject to revision when the market gets emotional. You write them down before you are emotionally invested in the outcome. If Bitcoin drops to X price, you sell Y%. Full stop. If it reaches Z target, you take some off the table. Full stop. The people who actually build wealth in this space are not smarter than you. They are just more systematic than you. Here is what connects all 5 of those mistakes. And this is the part that took me the longest to actually accept. None of them were about the market. The market did what markets do. It went up and it went down. My losses were almost entirely the result of my own behavior. I bought without understanding. I concentrated without strategy. I trusted without verification. I stored without security. And I held without a plan. The crypto market is genuinely one of the most unforgiving environments for emotional decision-making that exists in the financial world. It is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never closes. There is no circuit breaker. There is no regulatory floor that protects you when a project implodes overnight. That is not a reason to stay away. That is a reason to prepare differently than you would for any other asset class. The $10,247 I lost taught me that. And if this video saves you even a fraction of that number, then at least something useful came out of it. The knowledge you now have about these 5 failure points puts you further ahead than 80% of people who open a crypto account this week. Here is exactly what you do this week, not eventually, this week. Step 1. Write down every crypto asset you currently hold or plan to buy. Next to each one, write 2 sentences explaining what it does and why it exists. If you cannot write those 2 sentences without Googling it, you are not ready to put real money into it yet. Step 2. Look at your current portfolio allocation. If more than 20% is in assets ranked outside the top 20 by market cap, have an honest conversation with yourself about whether that aligns with the risk level you actually understand. Step 3. If you have meaningful holdings sitting on a centralized exchange right now, look into moving the majority of them to cold storage. The hardware wallet link is in the description. Read the setup guide. It is simpler than you think. Step 4. Open a notebook or a notes app. For every position you hold, write your profit target and your exit point. Make it a rule that you do not change those numbers while the market is moving. Do those 4 things before you buy your next coin. That is the difference between someone building something real and someone feeding the market with another set of emotional decisions. If this video saved you from making even one of these mistakes, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who need this information before their first loss instead of after. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns without the hype. I cover real strategies, real mistakes, and real market dynamics every single week on this channel. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 5 mistakes you have already made or almost made. I read every single one. And if you are just getting started, the hardware wallet link and a beginner security checklist are both pinned in the description. Use them. Future you will be grateful. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.